Welcome back, I'm Ari and I recently played LoverPretend. Today I present to you my route review for Riku Nishijima. Oh boy, where do I even start actually? I have said in the last video that I was really hyped for Riku. I really was. I was really interested in him, I really liked his design. Everything seemed perfect, really. I thought he would actually be another contender for my perfect list until death do us part, and oh boy, I have so many feelings right now. Okay, let's start with character. Actually, this review will be different. Okay, this video will be different from the other ones. I will have to go into a little bit more spoilers. I will say that when I do. I will still not like spoil the route or what happened. But I will have to explain a little bit. I will let you know. Anyway, so let's talk about character. Actually, I don't have that much to say because, like, the only thing I can tell you is whatever you expect him to be, throw it out the window. Yeah. That's like the only thing I can tell you, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, he was really interesting. If I want to talk about the early chapters, I really liked what they did with him at the beginning. Again, I will not say what, but I didn't expect that, and the moment I stumbled upon it, I was like, wow, that's cool. That's a really interesting topic, and I think that could be really cool. And it was until his route started, actually. Yeah, I guess that's all what I can say about his character. Now we'll go into the route. I guess this time the twists are a little bit different. There is multiple minor twists, I guess. I guess it's more like story beats, but I have kind of noted like 3 bigger turning points. I don't know, I think the pattern that I described in the other routes does not really apply here. I will talk about that later in the minor spoilers section, but there's some things I can say without going into that yet. What you need to know is the story is kind of all over the place. In the beginning, Riku had me wrapped around his finger. I'm already gonna say that. In the beginning, he totally played me. I did exactly what he wanted. I felt exactly what he wanted me to feel. And yeah, I really felt that. But the thing is, the route on a whole, like, that stopped at some point because the route on a whole is like a roller coaster ride. I actually prepared a graph for you guys where I tried to kind of put my feelings in, or like kind of this is actually how much I liked his character at certain points. And as you can see, it was really strong. That I mean I don't know if these are spoilers, but like the strongest point was when I actually got into his route. I was maximum interested. I really like all the scenes so far. Technically, it was more of a sudden drop, not like I described here, but I didn't want to put in infinite points. So technically, it kind of decreased slowly while I got to know him because it was kind of weird. Then there's like a really sudden drop because of something that happened, and I'm not going to talk about. And as you can see, it picks up again at some point, and then I was interested in him, but now it gets complicated, and I will get back to that in the minor spoiler section. And as you can see, it dropped again, and yeah, I'm gonna explain that too in the minor spoiler section. Anyway, as you can hear, this is a more negative review compared to the others. What I can say without spoilers is this route is toxic. It's kind of normal toxic, you can bear it. It's like real life toxic, right? Like where you can look away, or like you can even excuse some behavior and be like, well, I'm okay with it. And people would be like, well, I mean, I don't know if that's a good choice, but they would probably also be okay with a lot of things that happen, except a few. And there's one instance that is really, really bad, guys. And I think that's the point. That was for most people the make or break thing. And afterwards I looked into it because I was so appalled actually that I had to look at what other people thought. And I think that's where most people draw the line. That's this one bad thing that is what makes people want to abandon ship. And I can absolutely understand that, and honestly, if I was MC, I would have. But the thing is, since we're MC on a route, we continue. I'm talking about best ending, right? I'm talking about best ending. Yeah, the route is definitely not as healthy as other ones. Anyway, I have to say what kind of redeemed it, you could see that in the graph, that it flip-flopped all over the place, is that he does apologize, I think, 2 times. I mean, they're not really like those big heartfelt apologies I might have expected from Kazuma or Sena, but he does apologize. And I have to say, I can also understand people that actually like Riku, because I mean, I was at this point a little bit numbed, I have to confess, but the last half of chapter 7, so the last chapter, right, last half, really tries hard to redeem him in the sense that it shows, I guess, a healthy, normal relationship. And that's also worth a lot. So I cannot go into this without the minor spoiler section, but I wanted to say it for people that really like him, and also like for people that really want to play his route and are like a bit scared right now. In the end, it is kind of suggested that he outgrew the problems and is in a happy relationship with MC without any further problems, I think. Like, it seems that way. The sad thing is we only see that for half a chapter. You know, like it's like 2 scenes or something. 1 or 2 scenes. So that's like a bit salt in the wound. Obviously, I would have liked a restructured route. This is a big mess. I guess it feels like they wanted it to be a mess, but I'm not here for messes. I don't want to clean up messes. Anyway, let's get into dynamics. His route doesn't really interact with anybody except, or like really anybody. Except Yukito, and I don't think he would have wanted that even, but he had to because it's Yukito. Yukito is pretty forceful in a good way. And I have to confess, it makes you want to go back to Yukito's route. And I had it really bad because I really, like, as you guys know, my last route was actually Yukito's route, so I had this threat in my mind and I started to really miss him when he started to act like he acted in the route. Anyway, the rest of the cast was basically non-existent. It was really weird that Kazuma didn't bat an eye at all at anything. He was basically not in this route at all, while he was pretty invested in Sena. Yeah, the love scenes up until chapter 7 are all pretty meh, in my opinion, which is context. I cannot talk about it, but yeah. In chapter 7 they get better, but honestly, I didn't think he deserved these pretty GGs at this point anymore. Like, they look pretty and he looks good, he's a pretty face, but the heart behind it was sometimes just not there, right? Because of all the stuff that happened before. Yeah, not my favorite route, as you can tell. So this is what we have so far, right? We have Yukito in Until Death Do Us Part. And I mean, again, he might be a little bit of a weaker entry because he really, like, they just should have given us one more real romance scene. But oof, compared to the other 2, I want to say something before I do this, because Kazuma, I don't know, I had time to think about his second twist, like the one right at the end, and stomach it by now, but I have to say, I just want to forget it happened, and I think people that like him also want to forget that it happened, because like, if I take that into account, what he said, I would have to put him way down. Like, I don't know, man, I'm just gonna pretend he didn't say that. Yeah, so this is my rating, and now it's time for Riku. It's hard, because I actually expected him to go in here, right? And I think he would have if we would put in the start, like the prologue, and then maybe his ending, and a few scenes in between, and we would have cut the rest out. That's probably where he would have ended up. Or like, maybe I think actually here, talking from his personality, when you get to know him better. The thing is, because of all the things that happened, even though I said that he seems to end up in a happy relationship, that happy relationship barely makes it into happy couple, I think. Oh, wish there was more. I don't... Actually, it's that bad. Like, all the stuff, all the flip-flopping, that I actually think I cannot put him in any of these categories up here. So yeah, and I also don't think it's a case of didn't take the bait, because I actually was biting real hard. So actually, I'm sorry, but I think this is where I'm gonna put him. It's actually kind of sad. It's actually really sad. I have this twitching in my fingertips that wants to put him in awful. It's the same twitching I have when I think about Kazuma's like very, very last twist in the very last second. But I'm not gonna do that, because technically I made this one category, awful or even repulsive, for one character in another game. I mean, probably multiple characters from these types of games, but yeah, that like I made this category because of one route that I played, and I will probably replay it just to put him there. Anyway, I'm gonna brace for a few weeks and months. Anyway, this is Riku's route, so let's focus. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in just bad. And I'm really sorry, because he could have fitted like all of these categories. His route really is that much all over the place. And to explain it, I'm gonna go into minor spoilers now. Alright, so, minor spoilers. Again, this is a section for people that already played the route, or for people that are interested in playing the route, but they don't mind getting a little bit more intel to know what they're getting into. So, let me say that straight ahead. This route is basically you have 3 Rikus. That's how I kind of dealt with it. You have normal Riku that you expect and know from the other routes. Then you have bad hair Riku. That's how I call him. Because like I don't want to give you spoilers on what actually happens, right? So we have normal Riku, we have bad hair Riku, and we have tied hair Riku. And if you actually played the game, you should know what I'm talking about. Or like should be enough clues to tell you which parts I mean. Yeah, so I didn't have a problem with normal Riku. I didn't have a problem with bad hair Riku, actually. Like I think that's where most people are disinterested in. Because he can be different. He can be, not to spoil too much, but he can be a bit childish. He can be a bit moody. And I've known people like that in my life, and I like them a lot, and I don't mind. Sometimes it can actually be endearing. So I'm actually basically the target audience for this character. Still, I put him in just bad. Anyway. And then there's tied hair Riku, and that's kind of like the final product, let's say. So tied hair Riku is where you want to end up. And I also don't have a problem with tied hair Riku. Like I said, I would put tied hair Riku into happy couple, I guess, if it was just tied hair Riku. If normal Riku would have gone to tied hair Riku, or like, I guess the problem is really the transitions, because like I don't have a problem with each of his sides, or like his growth, or whatever, how you want to put it. The problem stems from how they transition. The problem stems from how, I guess, bad hair Riku acts. And I'm just gonna throw in some things for the people that actually played the route. This will not spoil you if you didn't. Again, before the route starts, I was really hyped. I'm gonna come back to the graph. And the big drop is, yeah, if you played this, you know, that after the route start, because of how they act with each other, I guess. This is like the really toxic stuff that happens. And then, as you can see, there's like a big spike. I'm not gonna say what happens, or like, you know, I'm just gonna say one word to clue people in that actually played the route and they're interested in it. Planetarium. That's all I'm gonna say for the spike. After that part, I was really interested in his, let's say, other character, in like bad hair Riku. And I thought, okay, we can do this. Like, this can go somewhere. I was actually kind of willing to forget what happened. But yeah, turns out bad hair Riku is bad hair Riku. Anyway, getting away from that, then the whole Sena situation happened. I'm again not gonna say anything except Sena or tickets, and I think that should clue everybody in that played it. And like I think already touched upon, this part really made me want to go back to Sena. And I think it really showed, ironically, it didn't show, like, it didn't put Riku forward as a good man. It actually just showed how much better Yukito is. And that's so sad, actually. Because, like, I was sitting there and he was talking to me, he was saying, like, good stuff. And I was just like, man, yeah, I remember, you're really intelligent, and, like, you're really sensitive, you're really attentive, and, like, man, if I was MC, I would have gone. I would have gone with Sena, honestly. But this isn't Oz Mafia, as I've also commented on Reddit. And actually, that's the point where I went to Reddit. Because I was like, I was kind of done. I honestly said on Reddit, if this would have been Oz Mafia, I would have changed my route. I would have gone from Riku to Sena. Truth of my chest and stuff, right? Anyway, so much stuff happened by start of chapter 7 that it didn't, like, I don't really know how to rate this. I think that I tried, it's really hard. If I would have to pick apart normal Riku, bad hair Riku, and tied hair Riku, we would have 3 different rankings. But I think, again, the transitions are what matters. I'm very sorry for tied hair Riku, and I'm happy that he ended up in that place, but yeah, it kind of matters what you do in the past, and I, for one, compared to the Riku fans, I cannot just overlook it. It's kind of blowing my mind that a route that has been so consistently mild toxic, like, again, like normal toxic, you can live with it, but you don't have to. You can. That might be a controversial opinion, but like some relationships I've seen in real life can be kind of happy. Like you as an outsider are like, that's, I don't know if I'm okay with that. But the people in it are actually happy. Even though one of them is, again, I'm not gonna go into details, but I think this couple will be happy in the end, but it's kind of boggling my mind that it went from this kind of toxic point. Even if you just take out that one instance that he apologized for, if you take that out, he was still not okay. And that just without any resolving, like, yes, he apologized for it, I guess he recognized it, but I don't know, he just suddenly changed. He was suddenly another man. A way better man at that, actually. And I don't really buy it. It was too cheap. It was too easy. Yes, they had like time gaps. They were like fast forwarding, but I don't know, man. I would have liked to seen more of the transition, or like more. I don't know. Yeah. So with a heavy heart, I have to put the guy that I thought I would like the most in the worst tier. Like, you might say, hey, you excused like the last twist in Kazuma's route, and you were just like, okay, let's X that, and let's just take it out and not rate him on that. Let's just pretend it didn't happen. But I cannot do that here because it's so consistent. He's always flip-flopping, you know? Except for the end. But the thing is, I'm not seeing the end. If this was a fanlist where we only see tied hair Riku, this was a different story. I would rate him probably differently. But we saw all of these Rikus. We saw all of this. In a sense, I guess it's kind of like Sena's route, but like in the opposite, right? Like it's the contra negative. It's a negative? Is that how you say it? I'm not sure. So lots of feelings here, lots of thoughts. I hope I could present this in a way that was kind of understandable. It's kind of hard because like some parts of me loathed him in this route. Sometimes I was mad, then I got sad, and at other parts I was like, wow, this is a well-written scene, this is enjoyable, he's a nice guy right now, I enjoy this. But then there was always something in the back of my mind, right? It was that he just played me, or like I don't trust him. Like at some parts I actually thought I would never trust him again, or like, I remembered what he did and that just tainted it. I cannot excuse it time and time again. Yeah. Alright, this was kind of sad. But looking at Reddit, since like this is kind of the point where I would talk about the next route. Looking at Reddit, I heard that actually Yukito's and Harumi's routes are the favorite of most. So I will go back to Harumi for the next one, and then we will do. I hope that Harumi can fix my broken heart, I guess. Cause like this route, I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. If I just take the last half of a chapter, it's not that bad, but I always have to look back and I'm just like, wow, they could have done something so great and they just didn't. I expected so much. I had like all these ideas in my head what they could do, and yeah, look how it ended. It's just a mess. It's a mess. Anyway, I'm gonna see you for my next review of Harumi. I think it will be really sweet. I hope he's not annoying. But I think once we break through his shell, which he seems to have, he doesn't seem to have many social skills. He's not confident, even though he's a great guy from what I saw. But I thought that for Riku too, so I know I'm scared. I think he will be a great partner once we break through that, gain his trust, and we get our way into his heart. Anyway, I'm gonna see you next time. Bye!